Hello, my wonderful grade 2s and 3s. I'm so happy that you're joining me today for some math. Now, before we get started, just a reminder, this is a suggested schedule, so whenever you're seeing this video, awesome. Maybe it's not Tuesday, maybe it's not morning, whenever it is that you're working, I'm glad you're joining me. Grab your booklet, grab a pencil, find a quiet spot, take a breath, let's get started. All right, awesome grade 2s and 3s. Let's get started with this number, sense, and operations. Oh, we're very crooked. I don't want to mess up make you feel like you're tilting. So I'll get it set up. I'll move my stack of Harry Potter books and notebooks, and we are going to get started with our math. So today's number strand is curricular strand is number, sense, and operations. So let's work through it. It says estimate the sum and then solve it. So when you estimate, you can just look, I'm going to zoom in so you can really see it. You can look at the numbers and try to, by looking at the numbers, guess, I don't like the word guess, but estimate what your answer will be. You can just say it'll be close to. So 589 is almost 600. I mean, it's almost. 270 is it's a little bit more than halfway between 200 and 300. So let's say it's about, it's closer to 300. So let's add to 300. So it's going to be, that's 900. And then I have about, so that's about 30 and that's about 10 less. So you go about 40 less than 900, so 860. So you can say, I estimate it's about 860. Okay. So that's how I estimate. And again, your estimation strategies might be different. You just kind of look at it and then look at the numbers and say what might be close. Now we have to solve it. 9 and 0, I'm going to use Grandma and Grandpa's way, by the way. 9 and 0 is 9. 8 and 7 is 15. So my 5 goes there and my 1 goes here because I'm adding 80 and 70. So it's actually 150. So my 50 goes here and my 100 goes up there. 5 plus 2 is 7. 1 more is 8. 859. That's my actual sum. So my estimate was pretty close. Okay, number 2. Are these numbers odd or even? Well, this one ends in a 4, so it is even. And this one ends in a 7, so it is odd. How odd? All right, number 3, subtract. So 20, subtract 5, subtract 10. So don't panic. You can just look at this in one of two ways. You can do it one by one. 20 subtract 5 is 15. 15 subtract 10 is 5. Or you can look, this is the total. You could look at these two numbers together and just make them 1 and think 20 subtract 15. And you would still get 5. Okay, number 4, what is the number? So I'm just going to move this so you can for sure see. Now these are our base 10 blocks. So we have 2 hundreds, 1, 2, 3 tens, which is 10, 20, 30, and 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. So it's 234. And it says order the numbers from greatest to least. So my greatest number, 901, that's my greatest number because it's got 9 hundreds. Now my next ones both have 800, but 818 is smaller than 899. 899 is greater, so it can go next. 899. All right, now the next one, 818. And the alligator is always pointing to the bigger number. Number 6, color parts of the shape to show 1/6. All right, so we have 6 pieces. I just have to color in 1. Ta-da! That's 1/6. All right, it says if a horse has 4 legs, how many legs do 4 horses have? Now, tricky, tricky, tricky. If a horse has 4 legs, how many legs do 4 horses have? I say tricky, tricky, tricky because you can use 2 different strategies for this. You can use multiplication Or you could use repeated addition. So if you want to use multiplication, you're going to do 4 times 6. And if you want to use repeated addition, hold on. Yep, that works. It might be easier for you guys to understand if I say 6 horses multiplied by 4 legs. So there's 6 horses and each one has 4 legs. Now it doesn't matter, remember from our facts families, you can flip them either way and they would both be 24. That's 6 times 4. But you could also do 4 legs plus 4 legs plus 4 legs plus 4 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 4 legs plus 4 legs. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 in total, 6 groups of 4, which is also 24. And if you want, you can go and check. So let's do these two together are 8. I'm going to add. I'm showing you that it's 24. Okay, so looking here, I've got 8 plus 8 plus 8 because I've grouped 4 plus 4 is 8, 4 plus 4 is 8, 4 plus 4 is 8, and then so now I have 3 groups of 8, and let's add those two together. 8 and 8 is 16. I'm just using doubles. That's a good strategy for 4's facts and 6 facts. So 8 and 8 is 16, and then I add 8 more, 16 plus 8, 16 plus 8 is 24. Okay, so I could do it repeated addition, or I could just use a multiplication fact. Either one will give me the same answer. All right, now we are going to practice adding big numbers. Now grade 2s, I really appreciate you working along with me on this because this is all grade 3 curriculum. I just know that you guys learned how to do double-digit addition, and the next step is triple-digit addition. And you now have the tools to add even bigger numbers if you want. Grade 3s, I know you do too. I'm just giving the grade 2s, telling them to give themselves a pat on the back because they're working on something that's harder than what they have to be working on, but they've learned all the skills they need to do it. So I know that they can do this, right? It's not that much different than just adding a 2-digit number. Well, that's not a good one because there's 0. But it's not that much different. You're just adding an extra column. So grade 2s and grade 3s, all of you, way to go. This is awesome. This is great practice for you. Now, if you're watching me and hearing me say that and going, but I'm not confident and I still don't like this, that's okay. You're here, you showed up, you're practicing, way to go. All right, on that note, you've had your pep talk. Let's get to work, guys. Okay. 335 plus 503. I'm going to use Grandma and Grandpa's way for this one, and I'm just going to go 5 and 3 is 8. So I'm adding my 1s. Then I add my 10s. 3 plus 0, I have 3 10s, 30. And 300 plus 500 is 800. So my total is 838. Now for this one, I'm going to use partial sums. Now if you want to use Grandma Grandpa's way, you can. Remember, you get to choose the strategy that works for you. So for partial sums, I add up the 1s, I add up the 10s, and I add up the hundreds. And when you're doing partial sums, you could start with the hundreds if you wanted. I usually start with the 1s because it's a good habit to get into. So my 1s, I have 2 1s plus 1 1 is 3 1s. For my 10s, I have 7 10s plus 6 10s, and that is going to give me 13 10s, and that is, if you just put a 0 here, 13 10s is 130. Okay, 130, because we didn't have any 1s to add there. Now, I have 4 hundreds plus 3 hundreds, so 4, 5, 6, 700. Now I add all 3 of these numbers together. 3 plus 0 is 3, 3 plus 0 is 3, and 8. 833. Now for this next one and the rest of these, I'm going to use Grandma and Grandpa's way. I just wanted to remind you that partial sums, if Grandma and Grandpa's way is stressing you out and you're having a hard time keeping track of those 1s, you always can add like those little numbers that go up here that get confusing. You can always add using this strategy where you just break it up. So add your ones, add your tens, add your hundreds, and then add them all together. It's just an extra step for you. That is available to you, but if you are doing Grandma Grandpa's way and it is working, keep going. All right, this one, 321 plus 178. So I'm going to use Grandma Grandpa's way, which means I add my ones, I add my tens, and I add my hundreds, and that gives me my answer. 1 plus 8 is 9. 2 tens plus 7 tens is 9 tens, 90. 3 hundreds plus 100 is 4 hundreds, 499. My next one, 322 plus 241. I'm going to add my ones, tens, and my hundreds. 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 tens plus 4 tens is 6 tens, or 60. 3 hundreds plus 2 hundreds is 500. 563. Remember, we don't say and. 563. Even I still do that sometimes. It's technically not the way they want you to do it according to the curriculum. All right, this one, 140 plus 996. So I'm going to use Grandma and Grandpa's way. I look at my ones, my tens, my hundreds. I start with the ones. I add those, then I add my tens, then I add my hundreds. So 0 plus 6 is 6. 4 tens plus 9 tens is 13 tens. So I have 3 tens here, and think 13 tens is 130. So I have to put that 100 there in the 100 column. So I have 130. Now I go 1 plus 1 is 2, and then I add it to my 9, or I could go 9, 10, 11. Whoa, that is a big number. That is even a grade 4 number. 1,136. Okay, congratulations. You all just did a grade 4 level sum. And it probably wasn't that much different than just doing a 2-digit sum because you're using the same strategy. 1,136. All right, now let's move on to finding the difference between big numbers. The difference means that you are subtracting. So let's subtract. 8, and for these, I am going to model Grandma Grandpa's way simply because that is the strategy we use the most. And I think it's the strategy that makes the most sense to you all. If there happens to be a strategy you're using and you're getting the same answer, go for it. Again, the whole thing about math right now is the way that we teach math is however it makes sense to you is how you should do it, as long as it's correct and you're getting the same result. All right, 8 subtract 6 is 2. 3 subtract 0 is 3. 100 subtract 100 is 0 hundredths. Now, I'm just going to model this. We have ones, we have tens, we have hundreds. It's important to remember that those are what these numbers mean. 8 ones subtract 4 ones is 4 ones. 6 tens subtract 7 tens. I can't do that, but this number is a whole number. It includes some hundreds. So I'm going to go borrow from a neighbor. I'm going to cross out this 100. Now I have 200. I'm taking one of these hundreds and I'm moving it to the next. Remember when we built them with base 10 blocks and we went through this? Just pretend that you're doing that. We built them with those blocks and we broke them up. So I have this 100 here that I'm moving over. So now I have 16 tens because there's 10 tens in 100. 16 tens subtract 7 tens is 9 tens. And 2 hundreds subtract 100 is 100. 194. And again, if you want to just write the 1 there instead of crossing out the number and putting 16 tens, go for it. Do what makes sense for your own learning. Okay, now, Grandma Grandpa's way, ones, tens, hundreds. I start with my ones column. 9 subtract 3 is 6. 7 subtract 2 is 5 tens. Sorry, 7 tens subtract 2 tens is 5 tens. 8 hundreds subtract 8 hundreds is 0 hundreds. All right, on to the next one. Okay, 4 subtract 0 is 4. Okay, now I'm going to move on to my tens. That was my ones. Now I'm working on my tens. This is my hundreds. So 8 tens, 80. Subtract 5 tens, 50. 8 tens, subtract 5 tens is 3 tens. Now my hundreds. I have 8 hundreds, and I'm going to subtract 2 hundreds. I have 6 hundreds left. On to the next one. All right, I'm going to use Grandma and Grandpa's way, ones, tens, and hundreds. So first, I am going to look at my ones column, on my ones column, and 7 ones subtract 8 ones. Use your fingers to figure out that that's not going to work. So I need to borrow from a neighbor. So I go over to these tens and I say, you have 6 tens. I'm going to change that to 5 tens. But now I have 17 ones to work with. Do you see how I just put the 1 there? Some people can work that way, and that works too. All right, so 17 ones, and I'm going to subtract 8. Okay, 17 subtract 8 is 9 ones. Now I move over to my tens. I only have 5 tens left to work with because I moved 1 10 over, so it would make sense. And I could actually subtract these two. 5 tens subtract 2 tens is 3 tens. Now I have hundreds, 800, subtract 800, 0 hundreds. 39. So another strategy that we practiced in class is counting up from the bottom number. And you could have done that with these because they're pretty close. So if you chose to do that strategy, that works too. Okay, now we are moving on to write all the equations you can think of for this array. Okay, so I have this array, and you're going to think of all the equations that can work for this array. So I have, and because it's the first day of the week, I'm going to do this with you to remind you about arrays. But I know we're getting to a point where you guys are going to be doing arrays by yourself. On Thursday, you are going to be drawing an array and writing equations for the array. So if you're stuck on Thursday, you can always come back to this video to help you. So this array, I'm saying that word a lot, this array is, let's count the rows. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 1, 2, 3. And we've been practicing counting by threes. 3, 6, 9, 12. Now, I could also write that as 3 times 4, and it's also going to be 12. Because if I was to turn this array on its side, do any of these, does the number change? No. So when you see multiplication using commutative property, just imagine all it's doing is turning the array on its side and making my students watching this a little bit dizzy. Okay, now I have 12 in total. We're going to do our division. Again, guys, this is something that is important to get down because it's going to make your understanding of numbers way better. So if division is kind of confusing you right now, that's okay. Keep practicing. Keep trying to relate these division facts to multiplication facts. It's going to make your math skills and understanding stronger. So I take my total, 12, and if I'm going to break it into groups of 3, how many groups will I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I will have 4 groups. And I'm going to take 12 and I'm going to break it into groups of 4. How many groups will I have? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Bonus, what's the one I'm missing? What is the foundation of every fact family? You're right, repeated addition. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12. Or 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. Either way, guys, perfect. On to the next side. You are doing great. I know this video, I hope it's not too long for you. I try to keep them under a certain amount of time, but I also like to take my time to explain things so that I know that they're making sense to you. Okay. building understanding. So we're going to use an array to work on the tasks on this page. Okay, so this is for 5 times tables, and this is, you might say, but Mrs. Oakes, this isn't a 5 times array. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the reason that 10 is looped in with 5's facts is they kind of relate together. If I was to break this in half, those are arrays of 5. So I know it says 5 times table, and you might be thinking, why is there an array with 10? It's because when we work with 5s, it's also helpful to work with 10s at the same time, because then you start to understand them together. So each fish at the each fish tank at the pet store has 10 fish. If there are 3 tanks, how many fish are there in all? Okay, so each one has 10 fish. Okay, so first they're asking us to use addition. So we're going to use repeated addition. We have 10 plus 10 plus 10. And that is, let's count by 10s, 10, 20, 30. Okay, and if we're going to use multiplication, that's 3 groups of 10 equals 30. 30 fish. 30 fish. Okay, let's go on to the next one. It's all about pet stores today. So the pet store owner takes 5 fish out of each tank. Now, how many fish are there in all? So that's what I did here. So imagine that each one of these was a tank. So there's a tank of 10 fish. This is it. So that's a tank of 10 fish. That's a tank of 10 fish, and that's a tank of 10 fish. Now, I'm the pet store owner, and I say, I'm going to take 5 out of each tank, and now this is what's left. So I've taken 5 out of each tank. How many fish are there in all? So then we just have to count by 5s. 5, 10, 15. Now it's going to ask us to represent that number 2 ways. First, using addition. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 15 fish. The second thing it's asking us to do is to represent it using multiplication. So I still have 3 tanks. So 3 tanks times 10 fish. So 3 groups of 10. Ah! Did you spot my mistake? I'm glad I spotted it now and not when I get a message from you guys saying, you're wrong, Mrs. Oakes. Okay, let's try that again. 3 tanks times 5 fish in each tank, so 3 groups of 5 fish is 15 fish. Okay, last one, guys. This one, it's asking you, it's saying, 1 more fish is added to each tank. Now, how many fish are there in all? Now, this is tricky. What we're going to do is change colors. Okay, I say it's tricky, but not for you because you know how to do this. Okay, so I went and I grabbed another color, and I grabbed green again, just a different green. I'm going to grab something that's really different than green so you can really see this. I'm grabbing pink, and all we have to do, because there was, I'm just thinking here, I'm trying to see if they're adding, if he's taken them out and we're going with 6 fish, or 1 more is added to every one if there's, this could go either way. So I didn't make this worksheet. I do make a lot of my own worksheets, but I did not make this awesome one. Do you think she means 1 more fish added to the tanks with 5 in them, or 1 more fish added to the tanks with 10 in them? We are going to add 1 to the total of 10. Okay? I know, that's a big number, but I'm going to show you a trick about multiplying 11s. So I'm going to add 1 more fish to each tank of 10. Okay? We're going to pretend that we went back to the beginning and all of the tanks had 10, and I'm adding 1 to each tank of 10. If you are checking your work and when you did it, you did this as 3 groups of 6, you were still correct. If you got 18, congratulations, you got this. but for the video, I'm going to do groups of 11 because counting by 11s is pretty fun, and I'm not sure if you guys have tried it yet, so I want to do that. So now we get to use addition. So instead of 10 plus 10 plus 10, we have 11 plus 11 plus 11. So this is one tank, has 11. This tank here also has 11, and this tank here has 11. So I have 3 groups of 11 fish. Now, I go here and I say one more fish is added to each tank. Let's use addition. 11 plus 11 plus 11. And let's count by 11s. 11, 22, 33. And just pause for a second. I'm going to count by 11s up until 100, 101. Or sorry, not 101. That doesn't make sense. 111. So wait for it. 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99, 110. Do you notice the pattern up to 100 until you get into the hundreds? It's very easy to remember. Just looks like that. So if you ever have to count by 11s and you think, I don't know how to do that, you do, because it's a fun pattern. It's actually one of my favorite math patterns because it's super easy to remember. 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99. Okay, and that pattern falls apart a bit once you get up to in the hundreds, but it's pretty fun up to 100. Okay, see why I wanted to do groups of 11? You're probably thinking, Mrs. Oaks, you like math way more than you should for this activity. And to that, I say there's no such thing as liking math too much. Okay, use multiplication. 3 groups of 11 equals 33. Okay, so for the rest of your math time today, I'm looking at my video and it's about exactly what it needs to be. It's about half an hour. So if you need some more math, I encourage you to practice your skip counting skills. So we, in grade 3 and grade 2, actually in all grades, we should be practicing skip counting. If you want to practice skip counting by 2s, skip counting by 3s, skip counting by 5s, 10s, and I just taught you how to skip count by 11s. So your optional extra math activity today, which would really help you get better at multiplication and understand what's coming, is to practice skip counting a couple times by 2s from 2 to 50. A couple times by 3s from 3 to 36. Okay. A couple times of skip counting by 5s from 5 to 55. Okay, I'm going to make a... I'll probably post this in the morning meeting post, but just in case you don't check the morning meeting post, now you have it. I also would like you to skip count by 10s from 10 to 100. Do that a few times. And by 11s from 11 to 110. Okay, that is your extra bonus activity that I really suggest. If you have more math time today, you practice that skip counting. Say it out loud. You can write the numbers down just like I did here. Because when you write and talk at the same time, or you read and talk, so 11, 22, 33, 44, that actually helps you build memories and pathways in your brain, which is important if you want to have these help you become a better mathematician and quicker with your math facts. And who doesn't want to be better at math? All right. Thank you for joining me. I love making these videos and I really love knowing that you guys are watching them. I can see the view counts and I know that they must be making a difference because there's lots of people from our class tuning in. So thank you guys. It really means a lot that you come and check in for math. Have a great Tuesday. You did it! Yay! That's your math for today. So now that you've done that, you can take on the rest of whatever your day is bringing you. If you have any questions, send them my way. I do love seeing math sheets coming back to me. So a lot of you are sending me just a picture of it. You don't need to correct it or do anything with it, but it would be helpful if there's something that's hard, mark it on the page, okay? There's something that's hard or something that you want to work more on. I've had a few people send me some good suggestions for things that we're going to work on next week. So that's awesome. And I cannot wait to see your work. So again, if you have to interrupt someone from your house, don't. Okay, wait until you have a moment, even if that's 2 days from now. Just take a picture of the sheet, make sure I can see everything and it's clear, and then send that picture from your phone or your device to me in Teams. Easiest way to do it. You can also send it on Class Dojo. Any of these are good. All right? Thank you for joining me. I'm so happy you're checking in. Have a wonderful Tuesday. I may or may not be filming this on Friday. Have a wonderful Tuesday. And I will see you all in Class Dojo and Teams.